Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to give you the good, bad, and ugly on this wide body GT500 conversion from I-5 Autohaus. So this car is a customer's car, so he asked to do the front end conversion, and so he bought the Ultimate kit. I think it's roughly $4,000, and it comes with everything you see: hood, fenders, the pins, bumper, all the grills, core support, pretty much everything you need to do the conversion. So as you can see, so this is a performance pack GT, so it's got the wider wheels, but there's a lot of room inside that fender well, so it looks like it's probably 2 inches wider than it was stock. And the fitment is decent. I feel like this kit was made in China. There was some issues with trying to line up these body lines and this, and then also you'll notice there's a gap, but I think they make a kit to kind of cover this that attaches to your side skirt. But I mean, it was pretty straightforward as far as putting that on. However, it does come with a wheel well plastic, and it does not fit good. So you have to take, this is a bad part, you have to take a heat gun and kind of stretch all this in here and make it fit, and it still doesn't quite fit well. I really had to massage it with a heat gun to get it to like get in these little shapes and grooves. I would say your average DIY mechanic is probably going to struggle with this. Any body man or anybody with experience probably be able to do it pretty well. So the kit comes with most of the hardware, but one problem that I faced with this kit, so it has 3 screws that go right here, and they send you a type 2 Phillips screw, and they go in this way. However, when you try to get a screwdriver that fits the type 2, it's too long, and then you start running into the inside of this. You actually can't twist the screwdriver to get the screws in here. So what I had to do is I had to go get the same thread pitch and a little bit longer nut. I think I ended up getting like a 12mm head to go through here, and that's how I had to attach this, because I fought with this sucker for probably a good hour trying to get these damn screws to line up in here. It does come with hardware, but it's just not quite the right hardware. I recommend, if you're interested in this kit, just be prepared to go get 6, 3 for each side, like 12mm bolts with the same thread pitch. I think it's 1/4 by something, I can't remember off the top of my head. No, it's M6. It's an M6 with a 1 thread pitch. But yeah, you need 3 for each side. That pretty much holds this on here. This little winglet was pretty easy to put on. This splash shield down here doesn't fit at all. I had to drill a lot of holes. This fits pretty tight. This side was actually pretty easy. The other side was not that easy. Same thing with this passenger side grill and light holder. This side, for whatever reason, fit really nice. The driver's side did not, so be careful when you're putting it together. Same thing with this black insert. It did not fit very well. I ended up having to loosen this headlight enough that I could wiggle it when I was trying to put this on, because this light sits in this little notch back here. So you have to have this light loose when you put the bumper on, and then you can tighten everything back up. It's a little tricky. Also with this bumper, it comes in about 25 pieces to make this. Like, this is a separate piece, this is a separate piece, this is a separate piece, all these are separate pieces. These grills are separate. So there's a lot of construction. It's kind of a pain in the butt to tape off and paint, but with some experience and patience, it can be done. This actually fit pretty nice. However, so whatever mold they used, it was molded with a little clip-on nut, but what they supply you is a nut and bolt that goes through there, and there's really no way to attach it. So just be aware that you're going to get some hardware that's not really going to make any sense, but you can make it work. And like I said, the splash shield underneath, let me see if I can turn it sideways. This area, I had to go get hardware for. It just did not want to fit. None of the holes really lined up. So be prepared. If you get this kit, you're going to have to drill some holes. Specifically when attaching this to this. So this is a separate piece, and then this whole lip is a separate piece. But trying to line these two holes up, whatever mold they used, it's not lining up. So I had to drill some holes and put some screws through there. So that's kind of the ugly on this. As far as installing these fenders and hood, there's a lot of adjustment in these fenders and hood. I probably spent a good hour or two just trying to line it up. And for the DIY guys out there, it's going to drive you crazy, because as soon as you get this all lined up, then you got to mess with these latches and then the factory latch. So my suggestion is, when you're doing this kit, line this up first with your door, because your doors are not coming off. Get your body line right, and then start working your way out. Leave this kind of semi-tight, enough that you can like pull on it and adjust it if you need to, as you're adjusting the front latch. So another thing I had to paint that was a little bit of a pain in the butt and a little confusing is this grill. So these actually are not really functional. They look functional, but when I pop the hood here in a few minutes, I'll show you. So really only this section is functional, and that's where the rain and water collects and goes down in there. There's really no escaping these vents. They look functional, but with the rain tray underneath, they're not really functional. But for a company to put out something like this, it's a pretty nice kit. They say it's the ultimate complete kit. It's not really. You need some experience in working with cars to be able to do this. But I will pop the hood and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I just popped the hood, and then you have these release pins. And you have your regular latch. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. So you have your latch. Okay, so underneath here, these are a little tricky to install. They got a lot of adjustment, a whole lot of adjustment. Not overly difficult. This thing I used from the factory hood for the factory latch. It's a little tricky to get it operating pretty good. Same thing with this. So this kit comes with a core support. So you have to change out the core support to be able to use these active pins. And it's a little tricky. Probably takes an hour or two to change it out. Not too terribly hard. But inside here, there's some brackets that run like this on both sides. That's the main thing that's kind of a pain in the butt to get out. But other than that, this kit comes it comes with gaskets for the fenders. This was a little tricky because the hood that they used to copy, it's different than your GT hood. So not all of these for your wipers line up. And this has nothing to attach to, because as you can see, there's nothing for that clip to go on. And then this is back to what I was saying, the rain tray. So this rain tray is pretty much solid, other than these two little holes right here. So there's not really, and then that. So as I was saying, like the one front vent is really the only heat exchange vent. The rest of this is all solid. But back to adjusting the hood. So these are 12 millimeter. So tighten these up just enough to where it's tight, where it's not going to move, but you can still move it. And then once you shut your hood down, there's two 10 millimeter bolts in here. Get this all lined up, get your pressure right, and then tighten this up, and then go back and tighten your 12mm bolts. And that's pretty much how you adjust the hood. But other than that, I mean, this kit's not too bad. I would not recommend doing this kit unless you're an experienced paint and body guy or experienced mechanic, because it is a little tricky to do. There's a lot of little trade secrets you need to know to be able to do it. But if you want a GT500 clone, I-5 Autohaus makes this kit, and go for it. But other than that, this is kind of my review. My overall opinion, I don't think it's worth it. If you can't paint and do this yourself, you're going to end up spending about $7,000 or $8,000 for this front end, because it's going to be $4,000 from them. If you let them paint it, they were charging $2,800, and then if you don't install it yourself, you're going to be looking at probably another $1,000 to $1,500 to pay somebody to install it. So my opinion, not worth it. But it's your car, your money, you make the decision. But yeah, here it is. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be posting more tutorials later. Thanks, guys.